Matthew has, as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed and broke it and gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." Communion. Mark has the same thing. As they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed and broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." John doesn't have this. It goes into his speech. Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God be glorified, God shall also glorify himself. But before that, I have this question from Luke 22, verse 15. "With desire have I desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer." And again, we know he's not talking about this Last Supper. He's talking about the next day. After that verse, he says, "For I say to you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God." So, did he eat the Last Supper? He says here, again following verse 17, "And he took the cup and gave thanks and said, Take this and divide it amongst yourself, for I say to you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come." If this happened before the Last Supper, he must not have eaten or drank during that meal. If it happened after the Last Supper, then of course he could have eaten it and then handed out the bread and the wine for communion for them and said, "I'm not going to eat anymore. That Last Supper is my actual Last Supper. And I did eat it, but now I'm done." "And he took bread and gave thanks and broke it and said, This is my body which is given to you. Do this in remembrance of me." Likewise the cup. So I am inclined to put him saying now, "With desire have I desired to eat this Passover with you." That way it's not confusing to readers that the Last Supper may have been the Passover. It's extremely clear with John, but Luke it's not. And because he could have said this after Judas left, because both Matthew and Mark have that Judas was exposed or pointed out, then they had communion, meaning this could have happened now. I think it's acceptable to have this statement and his giving and his saying, "I'm not going to eat thereof, I'm not going to drink thereof," after the Last Supper. So he did eat the Last Supper, then he said, "I'm done. I'm not going to eat until the kingdom of God comes in." What about John? John has, "Therefore when he was gone out." So this should be right after Judas leaves. "Now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him." I could have this speech, then him doing communion. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to have his speech after Judas leaves, then communion. "Therefore, when he was gone out, Jesus said, Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God be glorified in him, God shall also glorify him in himself, and shall immediately glorify him. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, if you have love one to another." Now, this is the interaction with Simon. And here's a bit of a problem, because this definitely comes after communion in Luke. We're speaking about Simon saying, "Behold, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith fail not, and when you are converted, strengthen your brethren." And he said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you, both into prison and to death. And he said, I tell you, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day. Before that you shall thrice deny that you know me. So this situation is initiated by Jesus, as it records in Luke. Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you, but I prayed for you. Strengthen your brethren. And then he responds, Lord, I'm ready to go with you, both into prison and to death. However, in John, Simon Peter initiates this conversation, saying, Lord, where go you? Jesus answered, Where I go, you cannot follow me now, but you shall follow me afterwards. And Peter said to him, Lord, why cannot I follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake. Jesus says, Will you lay down your life for my sake? Verily I say to you, the cock shall not crow till you have denied me thrice. Since he says, I will lay down my life for your sake, and Jesus answers with those exact words, will you lay down your life for my sake? I don't think I should be separating those at all. That's very close between statement, response, statement, response. So I'll keep those together. Maybe I should have the break just before that. Peter said to him, Lord, why cannot I follow you now? Then I'll stop. I'll go over to Luke and have Jesus saying, the Lord said to him, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you. So he's saying, why can't I follow you now? And Jesus responds, well, there's going to be trials and temptations. Simon responds to that statement, I am ready to go with you both into prison and to death. Then I'll add a third statement, what he says here from John, I will lay down my life for your sake. And that's where Jesus finishes, will you lay down your life for my sake? I think that's the best. So starting with only John, Simon Peter said to him, Lord, where go you? Jesus answered him, Where I go, you cannot follow me now, but you shall follow me afterwards. Peter said to him, Lord, why cannot I follow you now? And I'm going to stop with John and now continue with Luke. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, that your faith fail not, and when you are converted, strengthen your brethren. Now Peter's response to this statement, still from Luke, and he said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you, both into prison and to death. And that's where I'll stop with Luke, and now jump back into John. I will lay down my life for your sake.